Well, my grandfather emigrated to Woodbine from Russia. At the time that Woodbine started as a town, as a colony they called it then, and a couple of years later, my grandmother came over with 8 children from 14 years old down to the last one, the steamship manifesto said infant. And then she came alone on the ship. It was the SS Lord Gow from Liverpool. And how she managed it, I'll never know.
Then everyone heard, people were reading the papers and all that. There was a Woodbine. Barony Hirsch Fund organized a Woodbine. And you were going to get so many acres, 3 acres, 5 acres. You were going to get a horse and wagon. You were going to get equipment and so forth. And this was a dream, a Jewish community.
And they told my father to come to Woodbine. You don't have to buy no bread. You don't have to buy no potatoes. You get a cow, you have your milk.
So we went to the highest, I guess that's Hebrew immigrant agency, and told them that we need to find something, some work for my parents, and so they were the ones who recommended, if we're interested in farming type of living, to move down to Woodbine. That apparently a lot of Germans were being located to Woodbine at that time, and because we had no idea where Woodbine was or anything, so we just got on a train and moved on down.
We were told that you could get out of this horrible environment if you wanted to go to a chicken or dairy farm through the Jewish Agricultural Society / Baron de Hirsch Fund. And my father looked at a farm, and they had shown him one in Woodbine, New Jersey, and the house was such a huge improvement over what we had that I guess he decided anything is better than what we got. And off we went to Woodbine in 1940.
We came in March of '39 on the SS Manhattan, and I won't say it was straightforward, but relatively straightforward.
In 1950, my mother, she was 11 years of age, and her father, the entire family, were one of the first Hispanics family that moved into this town. They were able to come to Woodbine and find jobs immediately in all the factories that were out here.
So the opportunity came forward to come to the United States and make connections, and I guess there was, at that time, there was employment. And there was a connection made between Woodbine and whatever sponsor there was sponsoring him to come, and you needed a sponsorship and a job, and he had a job in Woodbine, working in the rubber factory. Came directly to Woodbine. Came to Ellis Island. From Ellis Island, he came right to Woodbine.
My father came here first by himself, and he got a job right away. Like these factories in Woodbine where Rabinowitz had these clothing factories. Then I was born here in Woodbine in 1909. And I've been here all my life.
My father had been in Woodbine, had come to the United States earlier, and then my mother came. She came with a family, and then she had us 3 girls. And so that was a long time ago. So I'm the youngest, and I'm 85.
My mother had a sister that lived there. She moved there, I think, in 1912 or 1913 from New York. And because of the factory situation, actually there was a hat factory there, and her husband worked the hat factory here. And I don't know what reason they gave for moving. I think it was just I imagine that he must have started to feel badly because of all of the fuzz in that type of a factory. He was starting to get sick. So they decided to move out to the country, and they found out there was a hat factory in this Jewish town in South Jersey, and they moved there in about 1912 or 13.
My parents came here, I think it must have been around 1926, because I was born in 1927, and like I said before, that I was the first one of 8 children, but 3 was born in the South. They come from North Carolina, Goldsboro, North Carolina, and the reason that they came here possibly was for the employment. But we had no other relatives here. How they got here was probably, again, somebody knew somebody that knew somebody that said, come on up here, that things are better. You know, they was down in the South.
They thought they were coming to paradise, according to the pictures.
My grandfather came from Russia. He was a road builder, and he started in Woodbine. He built 2 roads that lead into Woodbine.
They came from Puerto Rico, from the city called Guayama. Most of the family came down. My mother's sister came down first, and she's the one that had brought my mother to come down and stay with her. I was born. She went back to the island, met up with my father, and they returned back and decided to raise the family here in Woodbine.
My family, my sister and my brother came to Woodbine around 1955. They came to work in the farms out of the Oscar Woodbine.
He took the telegraphy work, and among the jobs posted about a year or 2 later was the Pennsylvania Railroad and their Seashore line needed a telegrapher, one to sell tickets, ticket agent, in a area called Woodbine. And they would take a family. They had a home for a family. It was a large home. Well, sure enough, they all got together, and a few months later, the whole family was down in Woodbine, New Jersey, mosquito infested.